Well, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, CNC brothers and sisters. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and
I'm Kate Tucker with Women Who CNC. Welcome back for another Wednesday night CNC hangout. So we are very excited to have you all on board with us and to help you guys answer some questions. Get your CNC questions answered. So, Garrett, do you just want to tell them about tonight, and then we'll go over
so tonight is just open forum night. Bring your questions on. We'll chew the fat, and if Kate and I can't help you out, then we got currently about 110 sisters and brothers in the stream that can answer your questions. Best is not to be on Facebook to watch this. It's to be on the IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel or on the Women Who CNC YouTube channel. That's where everybody's hanging out at and dialoguing with each other. And yeah, so for the next hour and a half, well, usually 2 hours, we'll sit here and hang out with you. And so, but Kate, why don't you say hello and then share the house rules, and then I'll talk about a couple things, and we will open up the floor to some questions, which we already got some start already.
All right, so let's go over the quick house rules. And number one rule is just be kind. It's just be a good human being. We don't like to kick people off the show for being rude and being cruel to others. So just be a nice human being. That's kind of the number one rule. Number two is if you have questions, please get them in before 9 p.m. because that is when we cut questions off. There are a plethora of questions that come in, and we would love to answer all of them, but we just cannot. So please make sure that you get your questions in before 9 p.m. All right. So again, I can't see who was first, but I think I see maybe Mark Lindsay was the first person on here.
Well, it's kind of weird. It shows up different. So I'm seeing Cherokee Vapor. Jack said he's checking in again at 13 hours, but Jack in the shop. And he said first few comments were removed. Brother, we just don't see them. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either.
Maybe the universe is retaliating for something you did 20 years ago.
Lord, let's hope not. Okay, well, either way, we have Jack in the shop. We have Mark Lindsay. It looks like we've got Brian Neighbor. We've got Oz. Hey, Oz.
Oz.
We've got the Yard Sale LLC, which is Harold. So hello, friend. Steve Bradley. We've got Ben Franklin. I think Ben Franklin is gosh, he's one of my students. I know his name. Why is that showing me? Oh, that's so terrible. I know his name. I do. I can see his face Thursday. Anyway, and of course, you guys know we have Julianne and Liberty in the background chatting it up with you guys. We have Tom and Julie Frank. Looks like we've got David Savage. Richard's back. David Hitler. Or Hittenberger. I'm sorry. Hittenberger. We've got Chris Gallagher checking in from Australia. I love that you guys are showing up every week. It's amazing. Yeah. We are so thankful for y'all. I haven't seen Rich Bratcher before. Johnny King, Eric Girth. We've got all kinds of good people. Oh my gosh. I see a new name here, and I'm going to end it. Flash Gordon. Hi all.
Ooh.
You be here from South Africa. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, brother.
Welcome. I love it. That's fantastic. All right. Well, Garrett, why don't you make your announcements and then we'll dig in.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So IDC Woodcraft, I've said it a couple times that we are working on a couple new products and still not opening up the can of worms. Sorry. But one of them, a lot of people will want, and the other one, some people will want. I do have a request I want to put out there. And before I do that, I just want to bring on board who's in the background here. As you all know, ladies, we're going to bring you out. We have Julianne, the administrative coordinator for IDC Woodcraft, and Liberty, our shipping manager, who makes sure every package gets out the door. And if you have a problem, she solves it. And so they're in the background taking notes. Give them some love. Say hi, Liberty. Hi, Julianne. And Liberty, what's the new thing going on with you right now, sister, in IDC? Share the news.
I'm putting my CNC together.
Ooh, what kind did you get?
Long mill 30 by 30 trim Makita.
The trim router?
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
the
it.
trim router. One of these things right here.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that in a minute too, by the way. Pretty
Yes.
excited about finally making some progress on the whole spindle thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so Liberty and Julianne will be in the background. We'll pop them out once in a while because we couldn't do it without these guys. Kate and I depend on them to keep things going for us in the background.
Yes.
And that's it's just the way it is. So ladies, they'll be back there taking notes for us and talking to you at the same time. A request I want to put out to everyone. So as IDC Woodcraft is expanding its product line, sometimes I know what to get into the product line, and sometimes I'm not sure. Really, I want to know what you guys would like to see IDC to start carrying. So if you do me a favor and put in the comments things that you would like to see us do, right? I'm working on half-inch tooling, but other things, and Liberty Julianne will be back there taking notes to make sure we capture that, and I will start getting that stuff on board. And I got a couple gifts in the mail today. We got a couple gifts in the mail today. So
very nice.
So this came from our brother Kurt Russell, our CNC brother Kurt Russell. And what he did is he took pieces of engineered flooring, which is very cool. You can make some very cool stuff out of engineering flooring.
Yes.
And he sent some coasters.
Oh, how cool!
And this is a little hummingbird carving. Kate, I think this looks kind of familiar to something you might have carved.
Yeah, it kind of does. Kendra did something very similar to that, but hers was like roses and butterflies, and she drew it, and then I did a bitmap trace and I traced it. But yeah, it looks very similar to that. That's very pretty.
Yeah. And that I would say was done with a like a 30-degree V-bit. Maybe the ultra extreme engraver from IDC, who knows. And then Rat Happy Laboratory, established 2020. Now you look at this and it doesn't really show what he's done. This is a pocket. That rat is a pocket.
I kind of see that. Yeah, you can kind of see the dimension a little bit. It's really unique.
There
you go. You can really see the angle now.
And so this looks like he's gotten down to a 32nd of an inch. And then there was another IDC coaster as well.
Those look sharp.
And one other thing came in the mail from our brother Butch Dunaway.
Okay.
He sent me a box of these. And what it is that.
Okay.
2 of them.
Now, is this something, I know you had requested something be made a while back?
Yeah, this is not what this is. These are frames for sawhorses.
Okay.
So the leg go here, the leg
Yep.
will go there, then you put your cross piece in there.
I like it. It. Very, very innovative.
Super cool. And so that's that.
Those are very cool.
Yeah, and we got a guest coming on next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Kate and I have been working on this couple, and she has mentioned them quite a few times, and you guys know who they are. If you've been paying attention to YouTube, it's Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs. So we are working on communicating that with them to make sure that that's going to happen. But so more special guests. So excited to bring on some more people.
Yes, they are absolutely fantastic. They have an Etsy shop. You guys are going to love them. They do some of the coolest stuff. And honestly, if you check out their Instagram, Jeff is really well known in the Onefinity community because he is a Onefinity, and he does some of the most intricate cutting board CNC inlays. They really are extraordinary. They are truly beautiful. I know he puts a lot of time and effort into those. So speaking with him about doing inlays will definitely be a treat for us. And Jess she is the mastermind behind a lot of it. And she is she's an extremely talented woodworker as well. And I've seen, what I love from her is she does these enormous clocks. Like, they are crazy big. But they're an awesome power couple. So I think everyone here will really enjoy their presence next week.
Right. And you can find them on YouTube. Two Moose Designs is their
Yes.
thing. So I got to bring this out. Someone has contributed to us already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Oh
go
my
ahead and read.
Wow. Okay. So I don't want to slaughter your name, but okay. I just want to say HTX. I don't want to try and pronounce her first name because I probably will slaughter it. I'm so sorry. But $50 donation, if possible. I would love to splinter this $15 to the IDC family for all that they do, 10 to Kate for all her help, 15 to St. Jude, and 10 to Missing Alexis Foundation. I challenge all to help Garrett smash his goals. That is incredible.
That is. Thank you. So for those that don't know, first of all, HTX. So I think it's Huguenot, maybe. That's the best slaughtering I can do with that name. So normally what we do with what you guys donate is Kate and I split it. And but what he is talking about is IDC Woodcraft donates to St. Jude every quarter. And now I also donate to organization Missing Alexis. So for 2023, we were able to donate $30,000. All right. So my goal this year is $50,000.
Oh my goodness.
So this CNC brother or sister here has just set the bar to let all you know that we are doing that. So thank you very much. And the way he did that was on the IDC Woodcraft channel. There's a little button just below the video where you can donate through Super Sticker. I don't even know what it looks like.
Yes, I don't either. To be fair, I really don't know either.
Yeah. So Julianne figured it out for me. You know, when I can't figure anything out, the first thing I go is, Julianne, help.
Yeah.
So let's dive into a couple of questions here, and then I'll share a few more things and shoot a few more tidbits. And by the way, I got to say this, Julianne, Liberty, you guys are going to have to tell them what you want.
Oh,
What
we
do you
want
want
your stickers.
to
We want your stickers.
Yes. Stickers.
Send us your swag. The girls want their swag. Julianne's notebook, she's got stickers all over it. You got it in front of you?
I do actually. Hold on. I've got there's my Mark Lindsay sticker right there. I got my Kate Women Who CNC sticker. Where am I going? Right here. There we go. Got that right there. And then got the back.
Nice.
And then we've got the front.
Oh, I love the little Pomeranian on the CNC.
Oh yeah. Liberty has one of those too now since she's putting together a long mill.
Yep.
And then I got Kyle's course sticker right here. It's all shiny. All the rest of my notes.
Nice.
And I'm on the last page of my notebook. So if you guys have any notebooks, you know, I could use one of those.
Yeah, if you have a branded notebook.
Yeah. Hey, girl, I have one over on the Women Who CNC website, so I'll have to send you one.
Well, there we go. Okay.
All right. So double up your swag. One, set for Liberty and set for Julianne.
Yes, I'm making a note right now. Notebook for ladies. Okay. All right. Are you ready to tackle some questions?
I'm ready. Let's hit this.
All right, let's do it. So the first one here is from Harold at the Yard Sale LLC. He says, I have some 3.6 thousand. Yes, 3,600. 7 by 3/4 by 12 reclaimed barnwood. Wow. I am thinking dining, sofa, coffee tables with CNC router decoration, and even birdhouses. Your thoughts?
So you got a bunch of these things reclaimed. You're thinking of dining sofa, coffee tables with CNC router decorations, even birdhouses. Okay, so basically, what should you start targeting to make these things?
Yeah.
All right. So Harold, I think you were here when we had Ryan on board, right? And so Ryan had a lot of really good advice. You know, I know business, Kate knows business, Ryan knows business. Kate and Ryan have been in the dirt doing this stuff. So, you know, you are probably a better one to answer this. But I will give my 2 cents on this. Is you can make these things, but one is, when it comes to CNC, careful of the workload or the time it's going to take relative to what you can recover from it. All right, the dollar return. Number 2, it's, you probably want to think simple and quick
I have
if
a
you can get that kind of stuff out. And then 3, like we always say, a niche, right? It's do a little research out there and see what's hot or what's trending. And you can play with a trend for a while. For example, the eclipse. Someone mentioned the eclipse the other day. And if you can whip out something with the eclipse, not a ton of stuff because we're getting close to it. April 8th is the eclipse. It's going right over Kate's house, and we are going to be at Kate's house to watch it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so as far as something I would think, okay, this is just coming from strictly from a woman's perspective. I think it would be really incredible if you could do something where you could carve out like the top of the table, maybe with like the family name, and then you could backfill it with some epoxy, or even more unique, if you wanted more of a simplistic design, maybe on like the side, you know, like you have the top of your table and the side beams that go down. You could maybe inscribe the family's name or maybe just their initials. Because if you're making a custom coffee table or dining table for a family, that's something, you know, a lot of people put a lot of effort into. And I know as a woodworker, we put a ton of stock into our products because we want them to be the best products that we're shipping out the door. So something very simple that would be personalized, that families could pass down to their children afterwards, generation from generation, and it has their family name on it. I think that would be very sentimental and be very quick and easy to do. If they wanted something a little more intricate, you could do, you know, their family name and then maybe like an oval around it. So it's the length, not necessarily the length of the table, but you know what I mean? Like a wider oval, and do their last name and then maybe family names. You know, if they have kids, wife, whoever they want to put that they eat dinner with on the regular, that would be something quick and easy that you could do. Or this is just kind of an idea. You could build your tables and then maybe do like a really cool turntable on the top of it, like a big turntable that they could just add. And that could be maybe an upsell for you, that, you know, you can have the customized table with the simple initials or the names, and then do a turntable, because those reclaimed barnwood turntables are ridiculous right now. And you could offer them in a variety of different stains and maybe carve that. That might be a little more CNC friendly, because
So you're talking like a Lazy Susan?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're huge. I mean, I see some people like on Etsy selling them for $400 or $500. And I mean, and they're maybe like 24 inches. So just a big circle. And then that Lazy Susan, you know, spinning piece underneath it, carve that, epoxy, whatever your jam is. That stuff is selling like hotcakes.
You know what? On that note, right? I wasn't even thinking with barnwood, right? I have this kitchen table that just drives me nuts. It's going out. I'm getting rid of it. I don't even have a table yet. I don't care. I'm going to create a vacuum. And I was telling Sarah, because they got a barn. She's got a barn in her backyard that's falling apart. So we're just going to build one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Just watch the market, see what the prices are. And also you want to consider shipping costs for things like that.
Yes. Yes. And it's
shipping,
really
not just cost, but packaging.
Yes. And that is that's a very, very good point, because you do want to make sure and try to find maybe a shipping company that's local in your area that's going to give you really good rates. We have one here in Indianapolis. It's maybe 25 minutes from my house, and I literally can roll up and be like, call my sales rep and say, hey, I need a box yay big by yay big, and she'll make something happen for me. But they also give excellent shipping rates. So, leverage your resources that are around you.
Yeah.
But
The barnwood gives a nice rustic feel too.
Yes.
So you can even make just nice little personal family signs, and
yeah,
that would go over well too.
yeah, upsell, if you will. That's what those little things
Right.
are. So absolutely. That's a great question, Harold. Thank you for sharing that. And good luck with all of your reclaimed barnwood.
Heck yeah, lucked out, brother. Barnwood's great.
It is. It's fabulous. All right. So let's move on to Richard of Rockland, California. So he says, how do I create a custom list of most used bits in my database without deleting my IDC download database? P.S. Love my Badger.
You copy the bit, create a new group, and you copy the bit and drag it into that new group, and you drag that group to the top of your list. I'm not launched.
That's okay. Well, why don't you just say it one more time in a slower?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm launching it right now, but
Okay.
so you have your tool database. Let me just find it. And so I haven't done it the way you're saying this, but I am going to attempt to do this for the first time. All right, here we go.
I'm live. No pressure.
No pressure. Let's bring that baby up. Okay. All right. Is it flickering or anything? It's flickering on me, the database.
You're good. Nope. All good.
Okay. All right. So you have all these icons down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. So the first one is plus. The first plus is add a tool under selected tool group. So tool group is going to be, I'm going to say the V bits. And if I hit plus, now it's added a bit in there. All right. I don't want that, but that's what it's done. So I'm going to delete that. It's the next one, add a tool group. And you can select that. And it did it under VBits. So I want to drag that group right up to the top. Let's see if I can get that up there. There we go. Okay, so I created that group and I just drag it right to the top, right? And then you can change the name of the group by going over to the white box, and it says new group, and you just edit it there, and that will name it. And then let's just say I want to do the let's do the beast. Right, the bit that we can't seem to keep in stock these days: the hog, the badger, and the beast. I'm going to select the beast, and I'm going to click copy. And now what that did was that duplicated the beast. It did not pull the data in yet, but it's there. I'm going to hit the copy data right down here, right in the middle of the gray space. I don't know where my mouse is at, Kate, relative to you, but down in the gray space it says copy. And what that's doing is copying the data that it pulled it from, and now it's all populated. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to drag that right up under new group, and now that router bit is there. So that way I didn't mess up the IDC Woodcraft database. We just added, we duplicated a tool, we added a new group, and now we have you can just populate all the tools you use most common. This is actually a really good question because, I mean, so first of all, this whole list here you see is the IDC Woodcraft database, which you can get off the website. You can get it for Vectric, Fusion 360, Carveco, and Carbide Create. And so I'm going to stop sharing. And you can populate your database with that. And so where was I going? I got kind of hung up there.
No, you're right.
Yeah, but then you can just duplicate it. You can set it up like that, and now you've got all your bits and the most popular bits. But I would suggest that you go to IDC Woodcraft and download that whole database, and that way you don't have to manually enter stuff. And every time you enter a number, it leaves you room for error. And get the IDC Woodcraft app for your phone. It's super convenient because if you're trying to work on something, you can pop that right up. Google or Android, Android or Apple. Just do a search on your store, on your Play Store, and you'll find the app, get it on your phone. It's got all the feeds and speeds for different woods, for the different routers. Tells you the dial settings and all the specifications for every bit in IDC Woodcraft.
Yeah, and I can vouch for that. It is a fantastic addition. It's a must-have resource. Let's just say that, okay, people? Must-have resources. I have had a new student this week, and he was not aware of that, of the resources that are available, and he's a new CNCer. I also told him, I said, don't forget about the checklist, before you're starting up your router, because there are so many little things. If you're new, that checklist could save you massive headaches and maybe have a little bit smaller burn pile. If you will.
Yeah, believe it or not, these are all the steps you go through when you're setting up your projects. We don't realize how many micro steps we're doing.
Yes.
And that sets you up for screwing up your project because we just forgot something along the way. When you're setting up your project, that is like the god of getting your CNC project done right, because your whole setup, if it's not done right, all the things you have to do. So the way you get that setup checklist is on the IDC Woodcraft website. There'll be a pop-up that comes up, and you just you can get it from that pop-up.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you for mentioning that, Kate. Important research. I even had that Mark Lindsay check it for me, and he said, "Garrett, you missed that. You missed that. You missed that." I'm like, "Arr."
Yeah. All right. Well, this new friend here, I thought his name was new. So David Hittenberger, hello everyone. Waiting for my first listen this evening from Redding, California. So
All right.
David, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you were able to join us. And I just have to say, when I saw Redding, California, I was like, I have family that lives out in Redding, and actually my family, my brother has a house out in Weaverville. So you're not too far from one another, but I have a lot of family that lives in Redding. So it's a beautiful area out there. All right. Let's see who we got here next. Oh, David actually has a question for us. He says, trying to get toolpaths for clip art 2.5D. After I generate a roughing path, calculate, close, and try to preview the path, there is no toolpath generated. Okay. Calculate, close, and try to preview. Okay. So what I'm wondering is, have you, when you did the roughing pass, did you select the, let me step into Vectric for just like a hot second, so then that way I can walk you through it. When you have the roughing toolpath open, it says you have an option for a machining limit boundary. Make sure you are either doing your model boundary or material boundary, or if you want to, you can do actually a bounding box, or not a bounding box. I'm trying to remember what it's. Hang on one second.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Let me go into my modeling tab here. It is called a vector boundary. Thank you. I wanted to make sure I got the right terminology for you. So over on your modeling toolpath in the CAD side of things, there is on the top, very top panel, it kind of looks like a half a circle and then like an arrow. And that you can actually use to put a boundary around your clip art option. And then that way, if you just want to machine inside of that particular vector, you can then select the selected vector over on the cam side of things on your toolpaths. And then that way it will just carve that. So I'm wondering if that is maybe if you have like selected level, or maybe you have one of those different machining options selected and you're not getting that desired result. So you might try and work with that. All right, Garrett, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm just thinking about his question. Yeah, but I think you're more on target than, I think you're pretty on target here.
Okay. All right. So that might be something to try. All right. So Johnny King, he says, I need to know how to get good lettering on a flag. I have a Fox Alien and cannot cut for the life of me to get good lettering on a marine logo. So I'm trying to think.
Lots of different things that could be going on here. Number one, you could possibly be using defect or cheap bits. If you're using cheap router bits, you're not going to get good results.
Yes. So a couple of things on the actual lettering. Johnny, if you can put in the comments for us, the girls can maybe watch for it. I need to know, are you doing like a 3D carve? So let me just say that because I'm assuming that maybe you're doing some type of a 3D carve. If you're doing a roughing pass and then you're taking some off with, let's say, your 1/4 inch ball nose or your 1/8 inch ball nose, make sure you are following that up with some type of a tapered ball nose. Whether you use the ultra, I think it's the fine or the ultra fine that Garrett sells. Both of those bits are incredibly great for doing 3D carves. I was working with Ben Franklin, which is Bob. I remembered his name. I knew I did. It was right there on the tip of my tongue. So Bob was actually doing a really beautiful 3D carve of his badge, or of the badge for the police department he was a detective and worked for. And we went with the fine. And then I said, if you want to tack on, like an extra hour and a half or whatever, you can add that ultra fine, because it literally was going over the entire project, just because of all the textures and everything. But he said that ultra fine bit sharpened those letters up so well, it was just ridiculous. So
you're talking about the ultra fine taper ball nose from?
Yes.
Yeah,
because you have the fine, and then I think you have the ultra fine.
Yeah.
So that's one route. That's if you're doing a 3D. Let me see. I don't see any other comments in there from Johnny. So the other thing you can do, I'm not sure if you're doing a V carve and how big the project is, but again, assuming with marine logos and things of that nature, I would suggest maybe trying a 30-degree V-bit to get the detail, depending on how big you are carving, because maybe you're using too wide of a bit. If you're using a 60 or 90, that may not give you, if you're going too wide, then the letters are going to get bunched up and you're going to have fuzz. Another thing to consider is the wood type that you are working with. If you're working with a really soft wood and you're trying to carve little tiny letters, friend, just stop. You're going to pull your hair out. Okay. Soft wood is going to give you a lot of fuzz. It's going to be very frustrating. So I would recommend working with a harder wood species. That's going to save you a lot of angst. And then maybe that steeper angle. So I'm just kind of trying to, throw.
Yeah. Liberty said that he just commented. So.
Okay. Regular carve, then 3D. Regular carve, then 3D for lettering and logo. So yes.
Yeah.
He said, I have the bits from IDC, not the fine bits, though. Yes. So as I anticipated, it was probably a 3D carve. Get the fine and then do the ultra fine. Those bits are going to make all the difference in your projects, and you will see a noticeable difference.
She's talking about this one right here. If it comes up. So it comes as a set, or you can buy each one individually.
Yes. Yeah. So you can see the one on the fine detail. If you'll pull that back up for just a hot second. The fine detail bit has just a little bit bigger of a tapered ball nose. You can kind of see it just right on the screen there. And then that ultra fine detail, you can see how teeny tiny the tip is. And that will really do your 3D projects justice. I personally love these. They're incredible. All right.
Cool.
We've got Mr. Ben Franklin, aka Bob. He says, question for Garrett. Will you be making a surfacing bit larger than 1.5 anytime in the future?
Okay, so as far as surfacing bits for the bench tops, I will not make one larger. I will feel it out with the spindle first to see if the spindle's got, can handle large, like a 2-inch diameter. I do have where I am working with, and I have a sample of a 2.5-inch with a 1/2-inch shank on it. And it's got inserts, right? But I haven't tested it yet. So, but we're going in that way. There was so that's the answer. You have to tell me if the reason I don't want to go larger than 1.5 inches on a bench top is because the like a lot of people have the Makitas, and the Makita can't handle the amount of work that's putting over such a big area. So much resistance on it, even if it's going through it, it's going to generate a lot of heat on there. There's another comment here I want to bring out that Sarah asked. So Sarah asked, you would love to have a longer shank for the bull bit so you can cut deeper. And I may come up with a longer shank one. The problem that this creates a little bit of a challenge because it runs into a safety factor. When people want to hang, this is what I don't have that sticker with me. Julianne, you told me I should have had that sticker with me. The bit setting depth or how much you want to have that bit up into the collet. When you're using such wide body bits and you're hanging them way out, you can. I've seen more bits get bent that way. Right, so that gets dangerous when you're having those big body bits hanging out quite a distance. So I'm not sure I'm going to come out with a longer one, but I will think about how to solve that because I know there are deeper bull projects out there that my bits will handle. As far as shank or as far as depth goes.
Yes. So Sarah is fantastic. She actually, so she is teaching CNC to her high school students, which is remarkable. I love that she's, doing all of this and sharing the opportunity sharing the opportunity of this industry with our youth. As a mom of teenagers, I absolutely love that. I mean, it's really, we really need to get more kids involved in the trades because there are so many really incredible trades out there. And it's just like, I feel like if it's not involved on a computer screen, some of these kids just don't want anything to do with it. And we really just need to get them and expose them to some of these.
Yeah. IDC Woodcraft also, we've got an educational program, right? So we will work with schools, and the schools automatically get a 10% price discount from us. So awesome. if you're attached to an education somehow and you are looking, then send us an email and we'll take care of it from there. Julianne was got that all straightened out for me because I've had PO requests all the time, and then Liberty just makes sure those things get out the door.
Yeah, that's really incredible. That's awesome that you're doing that because that's really making a difference. And as we all know, educators are not paid near enough what they should be, and so your discount and generosity to those programs to make those things possible and to make additional projects. I can't talk tonight. Additional projects with the bits that they have. Really opens the door for them to do different things versus them just having a couple of bits and just kind of getting to see the general scope of it. They really get to expand their horizons with that. So I know Sarah's probably very excited to see that. Yeah. All right. So let's see. We have Mr. George Hedrick up next. Today I was carving a box and my router would shut off every time it pulled out to move. Any suggestions?
Sounds like an electrical connection problem to me. I'm assuming you have a trim router on your machine, like a Makita or a DeWalt that's the way this sounds. Is that the way it sounds to you, Kate?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I'm not a super technical person when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I might say, don't shoot me if I'm,
No.
completely off base here, but maybe would it have something to do with the brushes? Because I know you can replace the brushes. Maybe if like the brushes are acting up, would it affect the electrical components of that?
I don't know. This is really weird. So there may be a broken wire in the cord. If it's that case, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just thinking if it's using a spindle, would a code be inserted in there that would shut the spindle off? But that code there would also have to be a code to turn it back on.
Yeah.
But that if you have a trim router, then that's not going to be the case. So speaking of, well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just thought of something. So I don't know if you guys can see it up here, but like my router cord is plugged in up here. And sometimes just like when I'm doing all kinds of different work, it will come unplugged. So I know it's going to sound dumb, but check make sure it's plugged in. So, that might be something. He says, I have a long mill and an IOC switch router is new.
So so IOC, I'm not sure what an IOC, maybe IoT.
Ion switch router is new. I don't.
IOC. So you have the IoT switches, right? That's so
Maybe.
the IoT. I'm going to get my cell phone.
Yeah.
Bring it online. Joanne, will you bring my phone online, please? And so the IoT switch. Can you hear me? Is like no echo?
It's a little bit, but not bad.
Okay, so there's something called an IoT switch, which is right here. And what that is when my spindle turns on, so I have the spindle all installed on the machine now. And when the spindle turns on, it turns on the IoT switch, which is that. And what that does is it'll turn on auxiliary things like the water pump or the coolant pump, or I got something else plugged into it, but I don't know what thinking real quick. But anyway, that's what the IoT switch does. I would not expect the IoT switch to cut off every time it pulls out. There should not be a command in there. That would only come from my IoT is connected to the spindle, the VFW.
Yeah.
So that's what's engaging it. So I'm not sure. It depends on how that's connected.
Okay. He says,
But
he left us a comment. It says, when it goes back into wood, it turns back on. That is really random.
Yeah, that's really, really odd.
Because it should be way on before it even gets.
Okay. What I would do is I would contact Long Mill on that and ask them if all the components you got are from Long Mill, and ask them on that one. I gotta get around my cord here so I can get back in my seat.
All right. Let's see here.
I guess I might as well talk about this real quick, though, since
Yeah.
we brought up my spindle, because everybody was asking about that.
Yeah.
They've been asking me about that for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the spindle is now on. And Julianne, are you able to expand this particular camera? Okay, there you go. So the spindle is on, and it works. It's a water-cooled spindle. Now I gotta do this just so you can see the difference here. So you all know what. You can bring my camera back up. You all know what this thing sounds like, right? You just that headache noise that drives you all crazy. Oh my God, the spindle is like insanely quiet. So I am going to turn the spindle on. I'm going to go to G sender. I gotta hook up real quick, but I gotta let it launch. And I'm going to put in a command. I'm going to put into the console M3. M3 turns the spindle on. I'm going to set the spindle to 16,000 RPM. And we're going to hit run. And that spindle is turning on. You should be able to hear it a little bit. Can you hear anything, Kate?
It's so quiet. It's beautiful.
That's the spindle.
Nothing like the Makita.
Yeah. So that's what the spindle sounds like. I can sit here and talk to you normally. I've carved a little bit with it, and I got to turn that back off. M2.
Yeah.
There we go. When the IoT switch turned the water pump on, at the same time the spindle turned on.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I did a test cut. I just cut this out of a piece of oak, and this thing cuts so much cleaner. I did rebuild. I tore the long mill down, serviced it. I'll have a video out for that. But it's like this was like night and day when it not just the noise. I mean, it still made noise when it cut, but it's such a cleaner cut on this thing.
Yeah.
So I got this spindle set from a company called Pawn CNC or PWN CNC, and they've got kits for the Winfinities with long mill, the millwrights, CNC for newbies, and they are plug and play kits. So the work to get it installed, I just tore the whole machine down. I hadn't serviced it in 2 years. I mean, literally totally overhaul. So I just tore it down. So that took a while. I had to get a couple of things for the long mill. Like I had to get a bigger drag chain to take in the water lines, and the IoT switch, which I got from PWN. But I mean, this is like already, it's so much better. Now I have the 80 millimeter spindle on mine, and I haven't done a lot of cutting with it yet. The 80 is a heavy spindle. So we'll see over time, but even the 65, most people are getting to 65. I already will never go back, ever, ever. Like Liberty's got a new one with the Makita on it, so I'm sorry, Liberty. Now I'm gonna have to get her a spindle.
Oh boy.
This is one. No, you don't need to get it yet. She wants to play for a little bit. So if I do recommend it. And Julianne, put the link for the spindle into the comments. And if you guys take a look, and if you'll use that link, that's my link. I did ask them. I said, "Can I have an affiliate link? Because I really like your spindle." So they gave me one.
Yeah. How many horsepowers is the spindle?
Well, they're kilowatts. I don't know the conversion.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So I will just say, just so the Winfinity users know, you really should go with the 65 millimeter spindle unless you have the additional rail. It's a third rail for your Winfinity. It's actually called the Stiffy rail. And if you do want to have an 80 millimeter spindle for your setup, please make sure to have that additional rail if you have the smaller units. I do believe like what I have, which is the Journeyman X50, I think the Journeymans already have the heavy duty rail built into it. So you could have that, but if you have like the Woodworker or something smaller, then you definitely need to have that third rail to support the 80 millimeter. So just be cautious of that.
I would agree. I would go with the 65. It's going to get for a bench top. I would stick with the 65. You're still going to have plenty of power to play with it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness, friend, we have 28 questions stacked.
Oh, let's get rolling. Let's rock and roll.
I know it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, remember we got Jess and Jeff coming on next week, and we'll just get a couple other calls to action out and let's just burn through this. So if you need Vectric help, you can set up with Kate. She does one-on-ones with you. You can go to the IDC Woodcraft website and go to the Learning Center, and she's there, or you can go to her Women Who CNC site. Kate, tell them about Women Who CNC.
Yeah, so Women Who CNC is a great group of women over on Facebook. You can come and join our group. There are women from all walks of life, people who are brand new to the CNC world, and lots of experienced CNCers. And also, we do live trainings within the group. Some of those I'm going to start posting to YouTube because I feel like it's really valuable content for everyone to see. So we've got a lot of exciting things happening over there. Feel free to check out our Women Who CNC website as well. There is an interactive map. If you're looking to put yourself out there, you can create an account, edit your info anytime you want, and put as much info out there as you feel comfortable with. But that's available to anyone and everyone if you want to start building up that map so we can see who's local near us. So, all right. You got anything else for us that we need to?
For those of you who've been waiting for the muscle chuck for your trim routers, they are in. So if you have a Makita, get your muscle chuck. That's these guys right here. That's that quick change tool. You know how you're using 2 wrenches all the time. This turns it down to one Allen wrench. So on IDC Woodcraft, Julianne, put a link in for the muscle chuck, please. So if you have a Makita trim router and you're still using the 2 wrenches, just get the muscle chuck. You will thank us later.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking that because I've been working on a video about stacked text and just like a quicker, easier way to do it. And there's literally like the first bit's like the 1/4 inch, and then the 1/8 inch, and then the 1/16. And then, you know, that's for like the top text first. And then you have to go back in and do that all again. So overall, you have 6 bit changes, 1, 2, tighten, loosen every single time. And it adds a lot of time to your work flow.
Yeah, it's like 3-handed jobs too. It's just get that changed over.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We've got Carrie Nilsson. This is, what do you find to be the biggest shortcoming in your CNC machine?
Interesting question. So I'm assuming we're talking about the machines themselves.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, to be honest. Okay, so I have one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so for the long mill, I wish it came with a faster rapid rate. Right. I had to change in the firmware the rapid rate.
Mm-hmm. I would say for the Onefinity, it's not something that we can change now, but if I could have changed it, the shortcoming in the BuildBotics motors, not the new Elite series, but in the BuildBotics motors, there's like a glitch in the system that you cannot do a tool change. Like if you try to save your, so like for instance, if you're doing a pocket and you have that 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and then 16th inch, you know, the bit comes back over, you change it, Z it up and go. You cannot do that with the BuildBotics motors. And now the Elite, that has been solved, but I would say that's the biggest shortcoming. But other than that, I really don't have any complaints. I absolutely love my Onefinity.
Yeah.
It makes me happy every day.
Yeah, I would have to say too, what do you call them? Anti-backlash nuts. They're a little challenging to adjust, but they have come up with a new design. They're just they're waiting for new product to come in, so they're currently out of stock on them.
Yeah, I think every machine is going to have, no matter what you have. I know that there's people that have big Stepcraft machines and they have issues. Long mills have issues, you know. But the great part about this is the technology is growing every year, and these machines are getting bigger and badder and more powerful, I feel like, every year. So, you know, if you're looking to make the investment, don't wait, because there's always going to be something bigger and better and awesome.
Yeah. But that's the other thing, you know, they say you buy your buy your last machine first.
Yep.
Buy your bigger machine first.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Liberty had posted for Johnny a link to the taper ball nose set, and Johnny looked on the app for it. The sets are not on the app. We're working on getting them on the app. You have to get the sets off the website. You can buy individual bits off the app. Thank you, Liberty, for getting that link to them, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's hit the next one. We're up to 31. They keep racking up. We're gonna have to rethink how we're doing this, Kate. We're getting more people on board and more questions.
I know we're have to work faster. All right, question from Roger Day. If I lower the depth per pass on the beast, do I also need to make changes to the feed and speed?
No.
I'll let you take that one.
No, you don't have to.
Nope. I've used the beast and the hog.
When he says lower the depth, I'm assuming you're meaning shallower depth. But if you're going to go in deeper, depending on your machine robustness, right, you shouldn't have to.
I think if I go lower, so I'm thinking he's digging deeper into it.
Yeah. So if you go deeper, you may want to back if you have a bench top, you may want to back it off just maybe 10 inches per minute by 10 inches per minute.
Yeah, not 10 inches per minute.
Yeah.
That you would not have fun with.
You'd burn up your bit.
Yeah, you would not have fun with that.
Even the beast has its limits. that would be the first limit I would ever find. I couldn't break the beast. We've had one beast break on someone, and that's because they chucked it wrong. They had it sticking out too far.
Oh, that's another good resource. We forgot to mention that one too. Is the Chuck safe
Chucking guide? I gotta go get a sticker. I'll be right back.
Oh boy. All right. Yes, we need to get that out there. All right. All right. Well, let's see. While he's getting a sticker, in the comments, show me, maybe by show of hands, if you have sent Liberty and Julian a sticker on there for their fridge. If you have not and you have stickers, girls, why don't you here, we'll bring you guys out real quick. Tell these lovely people where they can send your stickers for your fridge.
I think Liberty's muted here.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to
Hi,
send
girls.
us stickers, we would be more than happy if you send them to 313 West Main Street in Madison, Indiana. That's 47250 for the zip code. We're just in dire need of stickers here.
Yep.
This is the top of our fridge right now.
There it is.
Sweet. I love it.
There's lots of open real estate, so
Put it
Nice.
attention, Liberty and Julianne.
There you go. There you go. By the way, while you're all in here, give us a thumbs up on this video because you guys know the rules with YouTube. The more you like it, the more you comment, the more this pushes us out. So be kind, hit that like button for us, and we would love that. All right. Well, ladies, do you mind if we pop you back out to nail some more questions down? All right. All right. Well, let's tackle this next question. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sticker.
Okay. Yeah. So this goes out to all new orders, new customers. And what this is a chucking guide. This tells you how to insert your router bit and what not to do, because there are right and wrong ways to handle your router bit when you're putting it in your CNC router. And I made this because I've seen one too many people try to get as much as they can out of the length of their bit by chucking it way at the top. And you're asking for nothing but problems in your carve. You're going to break your bit. It's going to pop out. You're going to wear out your collet. So this gives you the rules of how to handle that. So first time customers get these in their packages.
Yep. Betcha.
I'll work on a way to make that more readily available to other people who want it. All right, let's handle some questions.
All right. So we've got Eric Girth. He says, how do I repeat a pattern along an axis in Vectric? Do you have Vectric open?
I do. Repeat a pattern along axis. Okay, along axis. Yeah. This will be a cool one. All right, I'm going to share screen.
I will, and then we'll give
Do you
you
want to?
we'll give you the
Do you
full
want to do it?
No, go ahead. I don't even have Vectric open because when I do it, just for reference, when I do it, my internet is so janky half the time. It like glitches so bad you guys can't even see it.
Gotcha. Okay. So the question, just repeat the question to me.
He says, how do I repeat a pattern along an axis in Vectric?
Okay, along an axis. So there's several things, there's several ways to repeat an object. And so the first one is by creating, you can do a rectangular array, you can do a circular array, or you can follow a line. And so right now we've got a star that I've just created. And down at the bottom it says offset and layout. So I'm going to select the star, and we are going to go to the second button. It looks like there's 3, 4 rectangles in that little icon. You select that, and this is your pattern generator. The very top row you can kind of ignore. I won't dive into that. Basically, that's telling you the square area. So I dove into that. The square area that your selections take up. But you have the rows and the columns, and you can change those accordingly. So rows is side to side. So if I want 5 stars stacked on top of each other, I'm going to put 5 in the rows column. And if I want 5 columns, then I'll put 5 in the column area. And then you have the next thing. It says spacing. There's 2 things. There's gap and there's offset. So gap is the distance between the furthest most point of the star and the closest point of the next star. So if I clicked gap and I said, I want everything to be a 1/2 inch gap, it's going to gap each item. Every item will be a 1/2 inch away from each other for the gap between them. The spacing or the offset is going to be relative to center. And so if I wanted to offset and I wanted them 1 inch apart from the center of the star to the next center, then I would make that 1. And then underneath that, you have the X and Y. So X is the offset in the X direction. Right now it says 5. So it's going to make those stars are going to be 5 inches apart in the X direction. The Y, it says 1.25 right now. They'll be 1.25 inches apart. I'm just going to hit create and or copy. And so you see now I've got stars that are, the columns are 5 inches apart and rows that are 1.25 inches apart based on center of the offset. That's one way. Circular offset is a little different. We got it takes a little more thought. But circular offset, that's another one. I'm not going to dive into that one. Then we got follow a line. And this is where, if I can do this one right and quickly, I'm going to put that star right on that line. I've selected the star. I'm going to select the line. The line has to be selected next. And then it's going to be the third icon. And then I'm going to tell it how many stars I want on that line. I'm going to say 6, and I'm going to copy, and it has placed 6 stars on that line. And that you play with those different features and work on that a little bit. Talk about Kyle's course, Kate, because the couple of these can be kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. So there are, by the way, that was great. That was a great demonstration. Thank you. So there are a lot of different ways to learn Vectric. One is to scour YouTube for hours and hours, which many of us have done. And we followed many teachers, and we've, some people say to do this, some people to say that. But the one thing about Vectric is that's kind of a curse and a beautiful part about Vectric in the same mouthful is that there's about 4 or 5 ways to do everything. So you may see Garrett teach it one way, you may see me teach it another, you may see Mark Lindsay do it a different way. There are so many different ways to do things, and that can make it really confusing for a beginner. So a couple of tips. Follow the same. If you follow 2 or 3 people, follow them consistently and follow them through their journey so you get familiar with their technique and why they're doing what they're doing. Secondly is Kyle's course. So Kyle Ely, I said that right? Ely. Yep. Okay. Kyle Ely has a course at learnyourcnc.com. There is information in the description below the video, and there are links there to use, and that kind of helps Garrett and I out. Like he always likes to say, get a burger and a beer. So if you guys want to do participate in his course, we appreciate you using that link. But as well as his course, Kyle's course walks you from the very beginning steps, working you like from what functions in Vectric actually do, all the way down to like advanced rotary. There is an entire community that Kyle has curated. There's weekly trainings. The possibilities with his course are absolutely endless. So if you really want to dive in and figure out every single thing from Vectric all the way into Aspire, that's the place you want to be. So I would highly encourage you to check that out if that's something that you want to dive into.
Yeah. There's links to his website in the description of the video.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We've got another question here from Robert Butler. Why is there such a range of values for Z-axis travel, and what do you recommend for a beginner, intermediate, and advanced user?
Ranges and values for Z-axis travel. I'm trying to discern that question.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if maybe he's talking not necessarily, maybe like within Vectric in the setup section, if he's maybe talking about like the rapid Z, or, you know, just like the Z0 that would be above them, or the Z that would be set above the material. I'm kind of wondering.
I want to see if anybody's answered that. That was asked at 8:04.
Or Robert, if you want to give us a little bit more context on that question, we'll be sure to. We can always maybe circle back to that.
Yeah. So what? Tell us what you mean by so many variations of Z-axis travel. Elaborate on that particular phrase.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. So we'll keep moving here. We'll keep his question starred. So we've got Ricardo. I finally got to use the muscle check, and I noticed it is significantly louder than before. Is that a normal side effect of the add-on?
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Double check, make sure it's tight. One of the things with the muscle chuck, just so you're clear, we're sending notes out on this now. When you install the muscle chuck, you need to make sure the spindle is cleaned up inside. You're taking your collet in and out to clean on your Makita, and you're cleaning the sawdust, but that collet is going up, and sometimes there's getting sawdust in there, and it can embed on the side of the taper of the spindle. So take a piece of Brillo pad and just clean that up, and then try that again.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you still have questions on that, then send us an email.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't noticed a noise difference myself. So.
All right. Let's see here. We've got a question from Sam. He says, I imported the IDC tool database. The Badger, Hog, and Beast bits showed up imported material, but they are grayed out in hardwoods and softwood material list.
No, they shouldn't be grayed out in hardwood. Softwood, it would be grayed out. All the IDC Woodcraft is just populated in the hardwood, so I'm going to have to work on that one a bit. There's only so many, but it shouldn't be grayed out in hardwood.
And softwood material list. I'm wondering, Sam, are you trying to do something? Maybe are you trying to do like a V carving or a tool that those types of tools would not be used? So that might be something that, a reason why you might having an issue. If you've selected a tool path those tools wouldn't be an option.
Yeah, I think it was Mark Lindsay some time ago shared about that Vectric will, for certain tool paths, it will only populate the database for tools you can use, it'll make them active.
Yes.
Right. But
Yes.
if they're grayed out, they shouldn't be grayed out. So I'm not
I
sure,
haven't
but
noticed that. I'm not sure.
I'll make a note of that and get back to my tech guy and have him make sure that they're good.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so Jen, hey girl. She is asking, I think I'm ready to try a two-sided carve. Can you give a quick explanation about the logistics of how a two-sided carve works? I know you have to use locating pins. You want to take this or you want me to?
Sure. Well, you go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I talk a lot about router bits, but
No,
go ahead.
you're fine. So two-sided carves are really, it's set up in how you want to flip the piece. I mean, I'm a big proponent of following the directions, and think of it kind of like tiling, except for when you're using those locating pins, you're just going to be flipping it either side to side, or you're going to be flipping it up and backwards, something of that effect. So Jen, I can definitely touch base on that in tomorrow night's training. If you want to get with me, we can hash that out. So
Tool-sided carves are good. What I would add to that is in the Vectric software, you have two options. You can tell it you're going to flip it that way, or you're going to flip it that way. And there's a distinct difference. So whatever you set it on, you got to pay attention to which way you've told Vectric you're going to flip it. Otherwise, your flipped side, if you do it wrong, it's going to be upside down.
That's been there, done that. Don't do that. So it's kind of like the pesky datum. If you put it in the bottom left corner and you're working with a round object, it's not going to work out very well. I did that actually on that Tree of Life carving on YouTube. I posted that video and I literally kind of had to stop and like cut out part of that section and then go back. I was like, oh, for the love of God. Because I literally had the datum in the bottom left corner and I centered it. So when it went like this, it went whoop, and then it like cut out part of the section. I was just like, oh, here I am trying to shoot a video and teach, and I can't even follow my own instruction. Pay attention.
Well, you know what? I was doing a live and I was trying to do too many things at once and I was making mistakes. I wasn't following my checklist. Right.
I feel like when you do lives and you're trying to record or do something, you just kind of get so caught up, you like forget the basics.
Yeah, I tell you, it doesn't matter how good you get, you will still make mistakes. That's why they have checklists. All right, that's why pilots use checklists. All right, let's move on. We're putting at 26 questions.
Oh boy. All right. So we've got Tom here. He says, when I use Aura Mask on maple covered plywood to cut a profile toolpath with a 30-degree V-bit to a depth of 0.06, the Aura Mask cuttings do not clear out the groove. Okay, so there's a couple of things with Aura Mask. And I know this is not going to be what you want to hear. So a 30-degree V-bit, the tip is so fine on it, it just has constant disagreements with Aura Mask. The other thing is 0.06 is very, very shallow for a carve. Personally, if I were you, I don't know how, like I said, I don't know what your project is or anything like that, but if you have the opportunity to maybe use your edit spacing tool and space your letters out just a little bit, then you could go in with your 60-degree V-bit and do your carving that way. Or even I feel like even 60s are personally my favorite, unless I'm using a wider font, then I'll go for my 90. But I personally I would never carve that shallow of a carve with a 30-degree V-bit. That's just, I don't know. I would tend to go much deeper. I would maybe even gander, 0.09 with a 30-degree V-bit, just because you're using that tiny tip. And if you're trying to get super shallow cuts with Oramask, it just does not mix well.
Yeah, she's right. It's just that angle is so steep. It's hard to cut the Oramask. What I have done was I've had that experience too, and I will push that Oramask down and carve again. But sometimes, there's too much to carve.
Yeah. So the other thing I can maybe advise you on, because you are using a profile toolpath, if you try to cut inside the line with the Oramask first, do that, and then come back and cut it again and do it either on the line or outside the line or wherever you're cutting it, because it kind of like breaks up that Oramask when you're cutting it inside the line. And then, I don't know. It's a little bit of a tricky technique, but sometimes you can get away with it, even if you use maybe like the allowance offset. I think that's on the. Is that on the? I can't remember if that's on the profile or if that's on the pocket. Hold on, let me.
I don't know.
Hold on.
I can do that both.
Let me look here. So the profile. Okay, yeah. So on the profile toolpath, you do have that allowance offset. So if you wanted to cut it inside the line and then use that allowance offset in a positive number, you could make it bigger and then cut yourself on the line. That might be an option.
No, that's assuming he's doing a V carving.
Well,
Right.
he said if he's doing a profile, because with a profile you can
profile toolpath. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, get outside that line if he's doing a profile cutout. But if he's inside the project doing a profile line, then he may lose that. Another option is start shallow, make a pass, and then try going a little bit deeper and do it again. I don't know if that's going to work though. Right. That way you're just shaving off a little bit, but you've done the meat of the work, just cutting through the Oramask.
Yeah.
I'll have to play
The other thing with Oramask is really make sure you have sanded that plywood. I would even maybe give it like a 120 because that's going to help. And then make sure you dust it off. Like grab a microfiber rag, clean all that dust off of there, and then put your Oramask down, because the better adhesion you have to that plywood, the better chances you are going to have with working successfully with Oramask. If it's just kind of on there and you can just like lift it and peel it.
Yeah, she's right. You vacuum the shit out of that thing to get all that sawdust off. I take a plastic scraper and I am pressing that down.
Yeah,
it's really pushing it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So we have Tom. Is this okay? He says, any advice to correct this problem, or is this normal when using Oramask? Okay, so it was kind of a follow-up. He probably got kicked out with the characters. Okay, so let's see here. We've got Aaron Vertrees. Question, could you do a video using Vectric to run your Monport laser?
Yeah, let's talk about that one next quarter.
Nice. All right. Let's see here.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll put, once Liberty gets the Vectric down, I'll get her on Lightburn, because I think she wants to learn that one too. Yep, she's nodding her head.
Yeah, Lightburn's a lot of fun. I like Lightburn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So we've got Jeremy here. He says, have y'all seen the Lowe's trim router advertised for CNC usage? Has ER11 collets. Just picked up one on clearance for $40. I'm a Spindle user. Just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Lowe's has one that has a trim router that's comparable to this. It basically is just a remake of the Makita, and they're selling them for $40.
I wonder if it would be.
So it said got it for 40. So check it out. If you want
Let
trim
us
router
next week. Yeah, let us know.
if you decide not to go upgrade to a Spindle, you might as well go buy a couple of those things now, because eventually your Makita will burn out.
I think I've
the
had
Makitas, when they burn out, they give up the smoke.
toast. I've had 3, so
Mhm.
I can vouch for them. All right, let's see. Paul Wheeler, when using Edward script, the lowercase letters where they connect to each other is very faint. I use 60-degree 0.25 VBit to make it deeper. Is there any other way to correct this without going too deep? All right, so again, you're not going to like this answer. I know exactly what script you're using. I really like that that font as well. The easiest way to combat this is A, pick a different font. B, go into node editing mode, and you need to widen the connection points. So those are really your only 2. I have a lot of fonts. I have a lot of there's a lot. So I do a lot of cutting boards with like custom recipes and things like that. And I go in and I trace them, and then I convert them to an SVG. And some of the loops and the little bitty things, I do have to take the time and go through the node editing and fix. So then that way the bit can actually get in there if I'm doing a carving on those. Those are really
It's a pretty font.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
I've used it too. I'll just flash it up on the screen so everybody knows what Edward font is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those. If you don't know, you're in the dark.
So it's got some really fine, thin lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can still, obviously, I mean, using the weld function helps. But what I like to do is I will weld the font all together first. And then from there, I convert the welded. I will go up and convert it to curves. And then from the curves function, once that's done, then you can go into node editing mode or just go into node mode. I think Vectric takes you right into node mode from there. And you can edit it from there. But unfortunately, those are kind of your only 2 options. But great question, Paul, because I know a lot of people struggle with fonts and things like that.
Yeah. Fonts, by the way, there are lots of free font areas. You can get DaFonts, DAFONT.com. All right. They have a lot of free fonts.
That's my site. I love that site.
Yeah. And 1001 fonts, 1001fonts.com.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right. Terry Johnson, question. I'm having trouble understanding what the colors mean when using node editing. Is there somewhere to find out what the different colors mean? Okay.
Yeah, I did a video on that.
Yeah. I think you
I
did.
didn't do a video specific to that though. I think I did, but I've talked about nodes in videos where I'm walking through an entire process. But
yeah.
You want to share with them about that and what the different colors mean?
Sure. So the green nodes are your start points. You'll have to forgive me if I don't remember them all. Blue nodes are where you have a curve or Bezier curve. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Arcs, things like that. Those are your blue nodes. And then your black nodes are just kind of your connector pieces everywhere else. And then are your reds your endpoints? I think that's your endpoint. I can't remember what the red.
I don't think the endpoints have a color.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Is it just? I think it's just green, blue, and black, isn't it?
It's green, blue, and black. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So black or they're all nodes are connector points.
Mm-hmm.
Or transition points for lines, right? That's what they are. And so nodes are something you need to have. You need to know how to edit. And the little tabs, the little flags you see coming off the nodes, those are how you can adjust things. You just play with it. You can grab a node and move it around. You can put a window around a bunch of nodes and you can move them all around at one time. And it's pretty cool. And I will check my videos and see, and I'll link it in this video. I know I got something on there where I've talked about that.
or just, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Definitely check out Garrett's video on on node editing, or just, there's
Julian, will you
no,
scour the channels? Scour the channel so you can find something for nodes.
yeah. So there's a lot. I mean, nodes are very general.
Check Mark Lindsay's channel too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they're very nodes are how you do graphic design. So you could literally type in on YouTube or Google or wherever you do your searching at and look up how to understand what nodes are in graphic design, and you will probably have 5,000 different videos that will come up and help you explain what those are. So definitely check that out. Just get a basic understanding.
Yeah.
All right. So we have our friend HTX back. Says, I see a lot of YouTubers using PVC pipe as edge stop with wedges. An experience with this, and how good is it?
Never done it.
I've never done it.
I've got to look it up.
That would be a great question to bring next week, because I know Jeff, when he does his, they do a lot of like the same type of cutting boards because he has an Etsy store. So obviously a lot of like repeat type items, and he has kind of a unique system with like wedges and clamps. And I know he has used edge stops. So yeah, there is actually, I was thinking more of like a wedge. Not so much when I think edge stop, I'm thinking like along your spoil board, like you could almost build like a spoil board with like a place to insert that PVC pipe, and then you can just slide like your cutting board in there and it holds it in that direct position. Jeff does actually have a file for sale on their Etsy shop using PVC pipe as kind of like edge stop, so you might check that out. But I think that is definitely a viable option. It's unique for sure, and I like it if you're looking to do repeat items. So
okay, cool. Yeah, reminder, next week we have special guests on board. We have Jeff and Jess from Two Moose Designs.
yes,
And you've probably seen them on YouTube.
yes,
And they have Onefinity, I believe, or a couple of them. They started off with a Carve-Right, not a Carve-Right.
Carfco? Is that even a machine? I don't know. I know it's a software program, but I don't know. I'm terrible. I live in my little bubble with my Onefinity and like your long mill and.
Okay. Oh, Liberty's digging into some of the videos. Thank you, Liberty.
Okay.
Remember you.
All right. So let's move on down the line here. We've got 20 questions left. So we've got Vortex 8. In VCurve Pro, when working with the rope border model, you use model position in the material setup and move the model within the Z-axis of the material. Am I right? Okay. Let me read this again. In VCurve Pro, when
rereading this.
I know.
With the rope border, which is a cool one.
Use the model. Okay. Within the Z-axis of the material.
Is this one where he's importing it?
I would assume so. What's throwing me is it says working with the rope border model, you use the model position. Okay, so I'm thinking the model position, good. In the material setup, which is like when you're importing an object, you're in the 3D, you have, I'm trying to think if that's the material setup. To move the model within the Z-axis of the material. I believe so. Mark, if you're still on, I don't know if Mark's still on. I thought I saw he had to jump off and run.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it. I don't have like an STL to import like right this second. So I can't go in there. I can't remember when you're in modeling and you import a model, what that thing is called, where you have all of your different axes and you can change like the X, Y, and then the Z, and you can kind of move things all around. But if that's what I'm
Mm.
thinking he's asking, I think, yes, you are right.
Yeah, I think Mark was answering his question a bit after he asked it. So there's some dialogue in there that Mark was giving him.
Okay. Okay, so Mark said material setup at the top of the toolpath tab. Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought that too, but then he said the rope model and changing it on the Z axis. I don't know if he's changing the Z height for that to compensate for the actual like modeling. I'm not sure. Oh, I love these questions, but there's so many things that run through our brains when all these projects and these questions come in. So we're just like, okay, it could be this, it could be that, like, you know, and it sucks for you guys because you only have so many characters that you can type out, and it's just like,
Right.
so I'm sorry if we're not as helpful as we want to be sometimes. I promise we want to help you.
Well, before we move on, we've got a lot of questions still, but I want to bring the girls back out. They've been hanging out there, chatting with you guys. So Liberty and Julianne, I'm going to bring you out. How you guys doing back there?
All good on the front here.
Okay, these guys want their stickers. They want their swag. Send your swag, your stickers to Julianne and Liberty. And so these guys are hanging out here on their own accord, hanging with you. They are becoming regular CNCers, sisters going on. So
sorry, I'm pulling links into the video description, so that's why I'm not
that's okay.
saying much.
That's what Julianne does.
Superman laser focus on.
You know, I gotta say, when they're here and they're drilling in, they're doing what Julianne's doing right now. They're like not even realizing that she's sitting here on camera at the moment doing her stuff. So okay. All right, let's rock and roll. We got a lot of questions.
Yes. All right, 19 questions left. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Paul Wheeler, what is a reputable place to purchase files? Please, or don't want to purchase junk. Well, okay, so I like to design a lot of my files personally. If you were to buy files, I personally like Etsy. I know there are a lot of really great websites out there. I know this would be a great question to throw out to the community because everybody knows a somebody that knows a somebody that has a great place where they buy models. So there's like a lot of really great places where you can buy STLs. If you're just looking for simple designs, if you want to make signs and things like that, or even some really cool STLs, get on Etsy. And what I would recommend looking at is their shop reviews. And also, do they have more than like one? Do they have more than like one or two items? If they just have one item, you know, I don't know how much design experience they have, so you might run into some flaws. But that's literally like the first thing I do. The other thing I look for is, do they have multiple options of what you're looking for? Do they have an SVG? Do they have a DXF? What are you looking for in what you want to do?
Two Moose Designs. You can go to their website. They are on YouTube all the time, and that's what they do. They make designs. They talk about them on their channel, and then they make them available to you. So I guess it's twomoosedesigns.com.
Yep. I've actually bought a few of their different designs. I think I bought some wooden spoons just because. So my friend, Christy Miller, she's actually pretty incredible, but she was what do you want to say? What's like when you're trying to like try out a file, you're trying to get somebody to like try it out and give you feedback. I'm trying to think what the word is for that. She was testing out their prototype and kind of gave them some feedback on it. But that was kind of a cool, easy, like two-sided project that you could knock out if you want to make somebody like a cool custom gift. I thought the spoons were kind of neat. People ask me that all the time. Do you make spoons? There are two things this girl does not make. It's spoons and cabinets. I'm out. Don't ask me. Don't ask me to make spoons or cabinets. But I did make a couple spoons, which I really liked. Paul, hopefully that helps you, and hopefully the community can help share all of their good secrets. All right, so we've got Carm's Woodworking here. What features of the Spindle upgrade do you see as the most beneficial?
For me, the noise, the sound, totally the sound. Spindles, though, they're number one, they are built more precise. The trim routers have they're not as tight in the bearings as spindles are. Spindles are designed to run for long periods of time. The trim routers are not. They're not. That's why you in Facebook, if you hang out in Facebook long enough, you will see the smoking Makita. You will see it.
Yes.
So they're designed for this type of work, whereas the trim routers are not. They run quieter. Your air-cooled spindles are going to be a little noisier. They won't be as noisy as the trim routers. The water-cooled spindle, that's what I have, and that is sweet. But you need a little more stuff. You need a water pump with it. You need a bucket, and I use window washer fluid in mine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's keep on trucking along here. So we have Martin up next. How do you set the workspace reference every time you put your working piece into the work doise? I'm not sure what that word is. Sorry.
Yeah. So how do you set the
space?
workspace reference?
Maybe.
So I'm going to assume that we're talking a jig.
Workspace.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to assume we're talking a jig. So if you have a fixed jig on your machine, you use a G55 command, and you should have homing sequence. First of all, if you don't have a homing sequence on your machine, it's going to be a challenge to do this. And what you should do is park your tool at that 0 point before you turn your machine off. Right. And that way, when you turn your machine on, you immediately go and reset your zeros, and then you know you're at X and Y. You'll just have to reset your Z. But if you have a homing sequence, then you can use your work offset G code, and you would say set that locate at G55. And I'm not going to dive into the work offsets in this live because we're running low on time. We got a lot of questions out there, but so the first thing, you have to have homing sequence on your machine. If you have that, then you want to do work offset. And you can bring that question out next time. And I know I need to do a video on this.
Yeah. I know Stonefinity over on his page for Onefinity. He actually just brought out that the Elite machine actually has it's called parking, and you can basically park the machine where you want it to take off in an instance that you would want to do that every time. So is it okay if we move on to the next question, or are we pulling something up?
Let's roll.
Okay. All right. So we've got Ryan here. He says newbie here. Welcome.
All right. Welcome, brother.
Yeah. Anyone
I
use?
always love having new people.
I know, I do too. Fresh blood.
Blood. Fresh meat.
Fresh meat. Anyone use V-Transfer or another CAM program they like? I've never used V-Transfer. I think I tried it in the very beginning, and then I just went, I don't need that.
I just use the Vectric software. It's got the CAM built into it already.
Mm-hmm. Makes your life easier.
Yeah. The only flaw with that is sometimes you know how it likes to make that toolpath really inefficient when it goes one side all the way to the other, one side all the way to the other, it goes back. So it does have an inefficiency built into it, but it's got the CAM. You're fooling with one program. It's all done for you.
Yeah. Not to mention the amount of education and knowledge out about Vectric. It's incredible. Yeah. So you can't beat that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So up next we have Michael Heron. My sister wants me to make some magnetic alphabet letters for her kiddos. Any thoughts on cutting a magnet sheet that would be stuck to 0.25 stock alphabet letter?
Don't cut magnets on a CNC router. Please don't do it.
Please.
Yeah, please
Why
don't do it.
Why don't you tell them why? I don't even know why. So tell them why.
Magnets like to stick to steel. Any steel component on your machine, it's going to find it and it's going to stick to it.
Ugh.
You can get magnet, and if you're using hard magnets, so you're using magnet sheet, so it's going to be that flexible stuff. It'll cut easier, but even that will throw little pieces of magnet.
And get stuck in your up on your machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea. What you can do is get a drag knife.
That's a good idea.
I haven't worked with a drag knife, which I'm going to have to. I've got a sample drag knife from Widget Works. So this gives me precedent to play with that, to get that, because I won't put anything on my store unless I've tested it first.
Yeah.
So drag knife. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're cutting hard magnets, that's going to go out. That's going to turn into dust, and that dust it'll get in your bearings and everything. Just it sends chills down my spine.
Well, there you go, Michael. You got the full display of Garrett's true passion about magnets. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Eddie's Custom Cabinets of Rochester. Which way is the best way to cut through 1.5-inch butcher block? Oof. Use the Beast. And then, okay, so here's a thought. Two-sided carve. The hog is, I think it's a 2.5-inch length bit, but I believe it has the carving capacity up to 1 inch. So
this is 1.5 inch. So this is 1.5 inch.
Right.
So,
but I'm thinking two-sided carve around it.
Yeah.
Flip it over and then do the same cut.
Yeah. You use the hog. The hog is a roughing end mill. It's one of the #1 bits that we sell because it speeds things up. It won't leave a clean cut. It's not designed to. Then you
Now,
get
I disagree. I really do. The Beast has a much rougher cut, but I literally can take some 120 sandpaper to my projects where I use the hog. Fine. Almost every time.
You're right. It actually is not that bad.
No, it's really not. It's like, and for what he's doing, because it's on a cutting board and he's more than likely going to be running it through like a router table with some type of like chamfer or round over bit or something like that. I mean, I'm a big advocate for the hog. You know that. I love that bit. I use it all the time. So
I'll show you what we have. Just share the screen real quick. So there's a set right here. It's the hog. The hog is a 1.5 inch cutter. That's the first one. That's a roughing bit. And then we have the 1/4 inch down cutter, which is 1 3/4 inch down cutter. The hog is an up cut. So the down cut is your finished bit. But keep in mind, when you're running longer bits, you have to reduce some of your numbers. I'll throw it in the comments since I copied the link already.
Yeah. Just make sure you use the feeds and speeds that are recommended in the IDC Woodcraft tool database or on the app, whatever you're using, because that's really going to help you maximize what you want. I think I have, what did I put right here? I don't even think I put it on here. Oh, this is my old one. No, never mind. I thought I had it marked, but I don't. All right. So let's see here. We have
commented Julianne.
I see that.
Guess we better bring her out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you all can ask questions to Julianne and Liberty anytime. We'll bring them out and they can answer them.
All right, let's see. So Julianne is the IDC Woodcraft coordinator. She is, I would say she is learning the software, but maybe not ready to answer questions yet.
Liberty would be the one to be answering the questions. I got Julianne buried in all kinds of technical crap.
Yeah. Liberty's going, I'm turning my camera off. I'm out of here. I'm not answering questions. Sorry, you guys, you can't see him. We can see him right underneath our screen, and they are just like
Yeah.
cracking up. All right, so it says I'm setting to carve inside the closed vector a circle. I reduced the size of my round carve quite a bit. Could that be the 1/4 inch bit is being kicked out of the tool because it's too big? Okay, so you're carving inside you're carving inside of the circle. Your vector is closed. That's good. I reduced the size of my round carve. Okay, quite a bit. Could it be that the 1/4 inch bit is being kicked out because the tool, if it's too big? Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. So it's doing, you're doing a hole is too small for the bit. Is that what you're thinking?
And if you're trying to carve inside the line on a bit, you may just need to step down to like an 1/8 inch bit, and that will help you. You know, that'll take care of that right away, or even try a 1/16 bit, depending on how small you need. I don't know if you're.
We have we got a 3/16 diameter cutters as well, right?
Yeah.
So the thing with that is that gives you the smaller size, but it still gives you the strength.
Yes.
1/8 they get is thinner. That's so they can break easier.
Yeah, the 3/16 bit's actually great. And actually, the student I was talking about that I had just earlier this week, he actually designs arcades, and I was helping him build the top of it, where we had to do all the pocketing of the holes and everything, but the project was upside down, so we had to cut the holes out and then go in and pocket only, I think it was like 0.35 down. So yeah, lots of little holes, for the joysticks and things like that, but absolutely, the tool is just too big. So
yeah,
hopefully that helped you out.
We're slowly chiseling away. We got about 10, 12 more minutes to get these out of the way.
Hey, I just want to say, if we have an extra minute, I would love to take you guys out to my big shed and show you.
Oh, let's do it. Just do it. Do it.
You want me to just do it? I don't want to take away from our people, though. It's so exciting. I know. Okay, let's knock out 5 more, and then let's like knock them out. And then if you guys want to hang out and see my extra cool track saw, we even built like a big frame on the top of it for all the dust hoses. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm like losing my mind over here. All right. So it looks like Cheryl Smith, new to your live program. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. In VCarve, how do you move your workspace from side to side without using the slides on the bottom or sides?
Oh, so I know she's done. Yeah, she's using either the touchpad. You got to get a mouse. Get a mouse. For anybody who does not use a mouse, you're killing yourself.
Please, just stop.
Get a mouse, and you push the left mouse button down while you're hovered over it, and hold it, and you can move it around.
Yep.
If you use a scroll wheel, scroll wheel will zoom in and out, just like Kate said.
Super easy.
Get a mouse, please. I'm so adamant about this. I'm going to Amazon right now. I'm getting you a link.
Yeah. And I personally, I really like my Bluetooth mouse because I literally can turn this thing on. I mean, I shuttle all of my stuff back and forth from my house to my shop like 27 times a day, I feel like. And I literally can throw my Bluetooth mouse in my bag and roll. I don't have to worry about some little chip or something else being stuck inside of my computer.
Yeah, I'm giving you the exact one I use. Logitech fits my hand well.
All right.
I'll put it in there. Anybody who does not have a mouse, please use this link right now. Get a mouse. You will save yourself so much headache. Yeah. Or no, not a headache. You'll be like going, oh my God, why didn't I get this thing years ago?
Mm-hmm. There's times I leave my mouse out here in my shop and then I have to like make do because I'm too lazy to walk back out here after a long day. And I'm trying to like finish design work. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like the most irritating thing in the world. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see what we've got here from Woodcutter. What reliable version of GSender is everyone running? Ooh, this is a you question.
The only version that they've got out, the most recent.
Okay. Well, there it is. The most recent version. You heard it here
Yeah,
first.
go to Long Mill's website and download the most recent version. I can't wait to show you some things that they've added to it. So go ahead. Next question.
All right. Up next is Keith. Does VCarve have a function to create cribbage board hole patterns? Do the speed drills still receive hole patterns for cribbage boards? You know, Keith, I'm going to give a big shout out to my girl, Jen Salzman here. Hopefully she is still on here, and she is the cribbage board queen. I personally have never made a cribbage board, so I don't even know if VCarve. I know it has a function to create cribbage board hole patterns, but I don't know much about the speed drills still receive hole patterns from the cribbage board. I don't know. I'm not sure on that one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've not heard of the speed drills unless he's talking about the. Yeah, I'm not sure if that has to do something with the Vectric.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
IDC Woodcraft has
talk to Keith. Maybe you can help him out.
Yeah, IDC Woodcraft has drills for that.
Yes.
Very fast drills.
Yes, I know Jen uses those, so she'd be your girl to talk to.
Okay.
All righty. We have Mr. Mike B. Do you have a video using Xcarve to make multiples of the same widget?
Neither one of us have Xcarves, so we can't help you on that one.
Mike B, go look at, oh gosh, I can't remember if it's Pawpaw's Workshop. It's PAWPAW, Pawpaw's Workshop. I believe he has an Xcarve, or he did at one point, and he has a lot of videos about the CNC. And I can't remember, does Xcarve use Carveco, or is it like a proprietary software that's specific to Xcarve?
Xcarve is Inventables, which has the easel software.
Yes. Okay. I think that's what he might use. So check out his YouTube channel. Hopefully he can help you out. All right. Kate, any updates from John that's doing the Purdue sign? You know, I have not heard from him, but I know he has a very, very big job that he has a lot of responsibilities for. So I'm not sure if he has even had time to start that, but I will check in with him this week and see where he's at, because I know he wants me to also do the IU court. So once I get the clearance to go and do that, I will keep you guys updated. I'll let you know. All right.
The next question brings you right to your new toy, Kate. This one right here.
I'm so excited. All right. Question. Would it be easier to flatten a piece manually versus sending it through the CNC? Thoughts? Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. If you've ever tried to flatten a piece of anything manually, it's painful and quite unnecessary. If you can use your CNC, 100 days of 100, yes, use your CNC.
Yeah. Go show them what you would use to flatten.
Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, so are you cool taking over for a minute? Because I've got to go open my shop door and turn the lights on. All right. I will be right back.
All right. So, John, I'm new to CNC, and welcome, first of all, to an amazing craft. I have a Shapeoko Pro XXL, and I'm using Carbide Create. Am I able to use VCarve with your system? You should be. Yeah, ask the company. But there should be no reason why you cannot use the VCarve with it. Many people do. But when you have a machine question like that, and the only reason I'm saying why I'm not saying an absolute yes is because if I've heard right, they are going to proprietary, which means that you would have to use their design software. But So go check. Ask them. If they're selling it on the site, then there you'd have it. I got to pull out a Kate. If you're just hearing me as you're running around, we do have another contribution from Baker Village Boys. $20. Finally got to use my IDC surfacing bit and beast, and they're working great. Thank you, and have a few beverages on me. Now, Kate and I will sit down with a coffee and we will clink to you. Kate, we got to do a breakfast again.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
I know. We haven't done a breakfast in so long. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we do the last two questions since that's all we've got?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe I froze for a second because I moved my Wi-Fi away from the window.
Okay. No.
All right.
Okay.
Cherokee Vapor. Hang on. Let me move this back over here.
What are your thoughts about the automatic tool changer that has just come out? So I'm assuming you're talking. I've got to take a look into that. There's a tool changer. I think PWN is working on a tool changer, and then there's another company that's got one. So I'm still working on that. I will look into those. I can note Julianne. Something else for me to dig into. I just need to remember that one. So,
all right. So up next we have Ronnie S. Question: what is the biggest surfacing bit I can use on a 4 horsepower spindle?
I'd go 2.5. I'll get mine.
Oh, I don't even have mine out here. We put it in the machine. I was going to show you guys the surfacing bit I get to use for my new toy. All right.
That's one I've got right there. That's a 2.5 inch. It's got a broken insert, and I don't have a replacement insert, so I can't use it. But that's 2.5. A lot of mass on it. But IDC Woodcraft is working. I've got one now, a sample from my tool company. We got one whipped up. So gotta test it out. All right, let's see your new toy.
Okay.
Bring her full screen there.
So let me just give you guys like a quick remembrance if you're new, like we have lots of new people on here. So I made an epoxy river table for Garrett. And he has been super patient with me because it is still sitting in the mold because it's been crazy, like trying to get this thing surfaced. So I'm going to show you, let me unplug my computer here. So let me show you. So here's the big river table. It's a 4 foot by 3 foot table, and it's got to get some surfacing done here. So I bought a really cool toy. Let my signal goes out. Here's my Wi-Fi. I run my entire house off because I live out in the docks.
You froze up, Kate. Your screen is froze up. There we go. There it is.
Okay, can you see me again?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I had to put the Wi-Fi outside. Sorry you lost me for a second. Okay, let me move this ladder back here. All right, so here is, sorry for my super messy shed. So this is the arch we just put on here, and this is going to be for all of the backhoes and everything. So this is called
no.
the plunge router. This is the 3/4 horse, which I love, and I added the attachments so I can have dust hoses on either side. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out, but I'm picking it up.
Okay, all right, but this has the dust collection on it, so I can take this on and off as needed. But basically, we built this table here. This is a 4x8 table, and basically you just move it back and forth like this. And I'm using one finger back and forth. Now, the really cool thing about this is it actually has let me move this down. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this has an actual crank, and it has a rod inserted in here. They have 2 different models. You can have one that has the Buildbotics motors that you can turn it on and it will surface it just like a CNC. But this has a crank motor. So, you know, like when you're surfacing a big piece of wood and it has like your grain grabs it and then like it will kind of take it off kind of in its own direction. This has like a tension rod right here inside of here. And so each crank, 10 cranks is 1 inch. So then I just crank it and you can kind of see it like moving towards me.
Yeah.
So then basically I can just run this back and forth and then surface it, come back, crank, you know, 2 or 3 cranks, whatever I need. And then it has 2 support handles on either side for me to just grab. So now I can start surfacing all of this like insane wood that I have down here. And
He's got a lot of nice live edge wood there.
Here. Let's see, what else do we have? I can't really see it.
Mark was wondering if it's a 3/4.
Yeah,
horsepower
all
or-
this up here. Where is it? It's always backwards. The camera over here. I've got, y'all, there's wood all over this crazy shop. And then I have a big thing behind here. So lots of material. But let me scoot back into the shop. Garrett, I'll let you take back over for a second.
Okay. Yeah, that's Kate's new toy. And she says it's very, very cool. And I love to see women who CNC get big toys. It's super cool. Speaking of women who CNC, ladies, so you know we're at the top of the hour, so we've gone a half hour over like we normally do. And so ladies, find the Women Who CNC Facebook group and join there. That's a women only group. Kate runs that. And for those of you who want to interested in discounts, but if you're not on the CNC Insiders list, when I have new products, I add, you get discounts, and I have some discounts from other companies that we've agreed to keep them on the list only. So in the link in the description of this video, you can there's lots of stuff in the description, one-on-ones with Kate if you need to email her. Kyle's course we talked about, if you should learn the Vectric, learn from the master, and some other things down there.
Yeah.
So
so many things. Sorry guys, that was kind of a hot mess. I hope you wasn't like too hit or miss. Like I said, I have a little internet Wi-Fi hotspot that like runs my entire house and shop. So it's not super powerful, but I am so excited. My husband actually said to me today, he's like, when do we get to surface something? Like when? Can we please today? He's like drooling, I'm drooling, but it's out in my shop. And I'm like, I have to dig out my Carhartts because I hate the cold. And so I'm like, can we do it like when it's just a little warmer? Because I don't want to go out here and freeze to death. I'm a big baby. I can't help it. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to put this out here. I just saw this come out. This was really, really sweet. Bobby, she says, it's an awesome group. It has helped me out so much. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that shout out for the Women Who CNC group. I 100% agree about that. So
yeah. I'm going to bring the ladies out. There's a couple questions about your thing. But,
okay.
Is that a 80-20 or Bosch? Oh, that's built out of 80-20. And what's the router?
It's a Milwaukee.
Okay. All right, girls, bringing you out.
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. I said, so the Milwaukee is actually super, super quiet. The guy from True Track, he actually was using the Milwaukee router and he was running it back and forth. And it was almost like using a spindle. It was so crazy quiet. Now, I will tell you, I think it's got about a $385 price tag. So it's kind of like when you buy your CNC, you're like, oh, this is all I'm going to need to spend money on. And then you like get the router and then you need the bits and then you have to build the table. And then you're like, oh, now I need a vac system. And I'm just like, oh my God. So yeah. I think this is hilarious. I just have to share this really quickly. Chris said, he's talking to Mark Lindsay. He says, CNC that would qualify Kate as a CNC goddess. LOL. Not that she isn't ready. Nice, Chris. Nice.
All right, everybody. The two ladies here that are below Kate and I, they have been in the background chatting with you. It's Liberty to the left and Julianne to the right. They both work for IDC, and they keep the whole thing running. And so Liberty ships all your packages to you, and you ever have any problems, she's the one that's handling it. Julianne is the one that's just keeping my ass straight.
That's a
Or
full-time
at least
job.
trying to.
Yeah. And I hope you all had a great day. Enjoyed the last 2 hours. Seems that this is now a 2-hour show since we've been doing it. Next week, Jess and Jeff will be with us from Two Moose Builds. So special guests. And we got a couple others we are working on getting in the lineup as well. So Kate and I are always at that one. And it seems we're getting more and more coming along. So that's good.
Yeah.
With that, I'm going to say bye, and you guys can bid your adieu.
All right.
Adios.
Good night. We'll see you next Wednesday right here on either the IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel or the Women Who CNC YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's it. Have a great evening.
All right, you too.